Every industry has its fair share of convoluted steps. Most of these steps can be very unnecessary, however, were implemented because of some incident or someone overcompensating for safety. Actions like these really make you question the intelligence of those who made them.
Why do we do extra shit?
I can tell you, it's probably mostly because A, this happened before, and we don't want it to happen again. So we take the most extreme measure to make sure it doesn't, or like we over course correct. Is that the way to say it?
Yeah, over course correction or
Overcorrection.
correction for
Overcorrection.
course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
See.
It's like the and 9 times out of 10 it's because somebody got hurt for doing something stupid.
Mhm.
Think back to when was that lawsuit? Was it the early 2000s or late 90s when that lady sued McDonald's because she burnt her lips on the hot coffee? So now on all coffee cups, they have to put on there caution contents extremely hot or something like that.
She won that lawsuit, didn't she?
She did win that lawsuit, and that's because of that is why everybody put it on there, because of liability reasons now.
Right.
Mhm.
But like that one little caution is now all of a sudden your fault. That one little blurb is what saved it all. Is that
Yep.
weird?
It's like the warning labels on literally everything.
Yeah.
Because it's all like, well, it was on there. We put the labels on there.
Yeah.
Look inside your car, even like
Oh, God. Yeah. Absolutely.
like when you buy a car and how many warning labels stickers come on the inside of that car.
Mm-hmm.
You flip down that visor and it's like, don't do this or this or this or this or this. Oh, okay. Somebody did that?
No, and then
Yeah,
it says don't read this while driving. Like there's cover-ups on the cover-ups, you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, isn't that why McDonald's really started doing the whole calories and suggesting what people should eat instead of just letting them have what they have? Because didn't somebody sue McDonald's for
them
making them fat, right?
them becoming obese?
Yes.
Yeah, not because they ate 6 Big Macs and 6 pounds of fries a day with a Diet Coke with 3 liters of Diet Coke, because you got to watch that figure.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, they all of that. And even that show, remember that documentary was called Super Size Me?
Yeah.
Where the guy, like, he was really fit and he ate nothing but McDonald's every day for all his meals, and he ballooned.
Oh, yeah.
Then he lost it all.
Yeah, he ended up losing it all afterwards.
And then he went and did it again.
That's
and
great.
yeah, it's insane.
That kind of reminds me of that one. I want to say it was an experiment where this guy just ate nothing but supermarket food in a certain section just to prove that it's all about calories in and calories out. He ended up losing weight because of what he had available to him in that one section.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like organic or super healthy food. It was like some of it was processed, some of it was, some of it was high salt content, some of it was whatever. It was just calories in, calories out. I mean, I should probably adopt a spoon that has a slight hole in the center of it just to help out. But
Or like one of those like salad forks, like that's really small, so you can only fit so much.
Right.
a salad fork with one prong.
It's a toothpick.
Yeah.
So is in terms of your guys' work, what are some, I mean, obviously you're not counting calories and stuff at work, but what kind of similar situations have you guys ran into?
Well, I mean, you get on the tug, right? Not only do you have to go through airfield driver training or whatever else, or safety briefs. Well, the safety briefs are another CYA for them. But then on the tug itself, it says do not operate over 5 miles per hour. Do not operate in unsafe. Wear your seatbelt on the tug. Always drive forward facing, or whatever you want to call it, like stuff like that. Or look at a hazmat locker.
Yeah.
A hazmat locker has, what's the sheets? The
The SDS
sheets on it, and then with all their warning things, plus all the warnings on the outside of the locker itself, and then each bottle or can or whatever on the inside has another sticker with warning labels on it, like just labels on labels on labels.
Yeah.
Don't be dumb.
Matter of fact, for hazardous materials, they have like these lists, or a sheet where it's like a list of all the hazardous materials that you're going to use for your job, and then what are the potential risks of using it. And you got to sign each item saying that you've read and understood what it is and what it could do to you. I forget the name of that list. It's like authorized user list or something like that. And some of them can be like 200 or so items, and you have to sign each individual one saying, I understand that this can cause me cancer. I understand this is an eye irritant or whatever the case may be.
And then they provide you no glasses or gloves to use when you have to provide your own PPE for that.
Right. You understand the risk, but just letting you know, we told you, so you can't sue us.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. We had this stuff we would use for bearings on one of the old Rotax motors. And it was like one of the most cancerous substances. Like if you looked up the SDS, and it's like one of the most cancerous causing substances out there. But there you are with your finger.
Is that the high temp grease or is that WTR? I can't remember.
It was high temp.
Yeah. It's like gray, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Those things stink too. It's fucking disgusting.
It stinks. It's good for what it is. But then, like, obviously, if you have rubber gloves, put those on, which I try to do. But sometimes in foreign locations, you run out of material, but the work doesn't run out. So you got to make it happen.
Right. And then also, like a lot of the extra stuff is because something broke because of somebody. Like, I can tell of one extra convoluted step is having to turn on or off like a major electrical switch, like those really fat ones where
like a breaker.
Yeah, kind of like a breaker. So in order for you to flip or on or off this switch, you need to have like a ESD mat or like this big rubber mat. You need to have somebody watching you and then a safety observer behind the other guy watching both of you. Some thick rubber gloves like the welder's gloves and a face shield just to flip on and off this switch. It sounds like a lot. I mean, I could understand why they do it, but all this just for a freaking flip of a switch.
Well, sure. Yeah. It's all safety related, right? And as we know, the human error is never going to go away. And you can train people till you're blue in the face and they'll find a way. Yeah. They'll find a way to mess it up. I mean, remember some of the guys when they had to fuel, they had to almost put on like a Hurt Locker outfit just to add fuel to a plane. And it's no more than actually adding fuel to your own car.
Right. Like 6 gallons a minute or something like that. Something super slow.
Yeah. Super slow. And I mean, the same pump handle, same everything. It's just, you had to put on all this equipment so you can't hurt yourself.
I don't know. Honestly, I kind of feel like some of this stuff should be done at a regular gas station where you got to ground your car or ground the aircraft to fuel it. Because how many people are that wild where they'll put the gas nozzle into the car and they'll start smoking next to it or all kinds of dumb shit.
Smoking next to it, be on the cell phone. Although I don't know if that's still much of a thing anymore. Remember back in the early days of the cell phones, like people would spontaneously combust.
Yeah, because they would get into their car. What they would do is they'd get into their car, static electricity from that, and then get out and then do something on their phone and it would spark.
I actually saw a video like that where it actually happened. Like someone went into their car, came back outside, touched the nozzle, and then boom,
boom. Yeah.
Just caught on fire. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when things like that happen, then it's all the fire alarms go off. And now just to add fuel to your car, there's 12 steps you have to do first to accomplish, ground your car, ground you, ground your phone. We're going to tell you not to use your phone.
Right.
We're just going to tell you to ground your phone.
Ground your phone. I don't know how we're going to do it, but
just be like Oregon and everybody has a gas station attendant.
Right.
Well, so Jersey is that way too. And you're not allowed to fuel your own car in Jersey.
Yeah. Same thing with Oregon.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that for Oregon. So first time I ever went to New Jersey, I didn't know that. I was there for work, pulled in late one night, gas station, got out, pulled the pump, started fueling. Put the card in, and it was late, so the attendant was probably half asleep in the inside, and he knows me because I was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm kind of looking around, like
putting gas in my car,
gas in the van. Like, what are we?
This isn't a big deal.
Yeah, you can't do that here.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, how does one get gas then? Well, we have attendants. I'm the one who has to do that. Cool, you weren't here, and I wasn't waiting around in February.
Right.
For somebody to come out and fuel my vehicle at 10 o'clock at night.
I remember that used to be a thing, right? Where they call it self-serve and then full service, where like someone will come out, put gas in your car, wipe your windows and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think that died out in the 50s.
Was it? Because I remember seeing that in like maybe as late as 97, I want to say.
So
I've had experiences like that, but they are very few and far between.
Yeah.
We had one gas station in my hometown they would pump your gas for you. Like you paid the attendant. They came back with change or whatever, and they pumped gas in your car, but they didn't clean they didn't clean windows or any of that stuff. Like they wouldn't do that. It was strictly fuel.
Just gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other services are like, oh, check your fluids for you while you're sitting there at the station, or check. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that stuff died out in like the 30s, 40s, or 50s, somewhere in there. And I'm thinking earlier than the 50s. I'm thinking pre-World War II. Actually, is what I'm thinking.
Right.
Back when gas was like a freaking penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 cents a gallon.
Right.
And everybody drove Model A's.
But the gas tank was only like 2 gallons.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
But I think a lot of the stuff that's extra on top of something bad happening or something broke is you get that one individual who's just really trying to be like top of the line or really trying to beeline his way to the top. So he like overcompensates for a simple problem and really tries to make a name for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yep. They, instead of actually focusing on some real issues,
Yeah.
they say this is what's going to push my career
Mhm.
and promote me, and they harp on safety equipment, this and that, and everybody pats them on the back for doing so. And you're like, well, we already had procedures in place
Right.
that were working. Nobody's gotten hurt with those procedures. Why are we trying to fix what's not broke? You know what I mean?
Because I am charged and I told you so.
Because the real problems are too hard for me to address.
Exactly.
Snap. And I see that happen a lot, especially in our previous jobs, MVP, and just why though? But then again, you know, if you suck at everything else, you might as well be good at something.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. When the issues are, the real problems are too difficult to address or would take some actual effort.
Mm-hmm.
Why I'll just take this one fueling procedure and rewrite it to where it looks like I revamped it and made it safer. And the only thing I did was make you put on additional PPE.
Right. And going on to that process improvement, we're just repackaging and rebranding the same old mess. And don't say some extra stuff or technical what have you to make it sound all smart, like, oh, we lean this out, or we utilize Six Sigma. We had like this team of engineers or process improvers or whatever they have you, just to make it sound smart, legit, just to justify that we're gonna give them all this extra money to make like this one little blurb of a change, you know?
Well, it's like I'm going to go back to fueling because that's what we started with. But you know, don't smoke when you're fueling the aircraft. Okay, I already knew that. Yeah, but this time I typed it in red.
Ooh, man, that one little blur's what's gonna save.
I made all the changes. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's diesel. It's diesel. It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't light off that easy.
Right.
Don't do it.
I mean, by all means, don't do that. But
That's what I'm saying. Well, you could. You like JP8, right? You could take a lit cigarette
Mhm.
and throw it into a 5-gallon bucket of JP8, and the only thing that's going to happen is that cigarette's just going to get snuffed out.
Right.
It's not going to do anything. Oh, if you're dealing with 100 low lead, I don't do that. You'll burn down the hanger. But like for JP8, you just got to know the materials you're dealing with. But
Also, use some common sense, you know?
well, but if it was common shoreline, everyone would have
Fair
it.
enough.
Then it would.
Yeah, like the movie Idiocracy, that becomes less of a movie and more of real life as time goes on.
And you've heard me joke about this. I think both of you have, where when someone actually has like a good idea that makes sense, and then we start retorting like, "Oh, we don't have the budget for your sense."
Yeah. We don't have the time, the budget, or whatever else. And then fast forward 3 months, and then one of the upper management says, "I think we should do this," and everybody applauds them and cheers. And you're like, "What?
I just said that.
I just said that a few months ago, and you guys told me we didn't have the time or budget." No, you must be mistaken. This is new thinking that only management could have come up with.
So you're low level. You're not smart enough to think that way. We don't have the budget to be.
We don't have the budget for you to think that way.
Right. We want innovation, but just not yours.
Right. We want your innovation and rebranded as ours.
Right. Or like our idea of your innovation is just innovating a better way to do what I tell you better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
No, you know what I mean? Like, anyone ever get that? Does anyone listeners ever get that?
And if you have, please let us know.
I think that goes into what you said like some time ago, MVP, where you can accomplish anything so long as you don't care who gets the credit.
Ronald Reagan said that there's no limit to what man can accomplish as long as he doesn't mind who gets the credit.
Mm-hmm.
And so many organizations have been crippled by that because credit's all they're after.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't actually care that something's improving or something gets better for the mass. Rather, they just care about their own. They're what they call, had a guy I worked with before, and he called them me monsters. Me.
Yep.
You know? Yeah, it was all about them. They didn't give a shit about anybody else. They stepped on whoever they had to, and they made it, all about them. And however good they looked, that's all that mattered.
Exactly.
Right. And I hate shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think is the big line draw between someone who's a manager and then someone who's actually like in charge of people, like a leader of people.
Yeah, it's the difference between a manager and a leader.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Right. Yeah, just because you have the manager title doesn't mean you're a leader.
Right.
It just means you can suck dick better.
You're gonna, yeah, pretty much. You're gonna respect the guy that isn't gonna ask you to do something he's not also willing to do a whole hell of a lot more than the guy that's just telling you what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to one of the other episodes we were saying where people would come seek us out over their existing management because they knew they would get legitimate help from us,
Yeah. Then instead of just like trying to hunt down who gets the credit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because they knew, though, that if they went to their management, it would be them being pushed to the side and says, the manager goes, I'm here and I'm going to fix it. And then everybody applauds them.
Right.
Right.
You know, I noticed too, man, about all the extra stuff that we're supposed to do, or any industries what they're supposed to do. It's one of those things that they're just kind of been taught to you and no one's ever like really stopped to question it. Right. It's like one of those experiments where they take a group of monkeys, they put them through shock therapy whenever they try to reach for stuff.
Oh,
then,
yeah.
And then you take the old batch out, put a new one in, and the old monkey would tell them to not reach for stuff because they'll get shocked. And they just kind of take that as fact.
I'm like, okay, well, that's what you say then.
Right.
Does that fall into that herd mentality?
I think so.
Probably.
Or does that fall under, hey, learn from my mistakes? I don't know if that's herd mentality or not, because herd mentality would be like, well, we see that person's getting shocked, but that's what they're doing. That's what we're all doing. So maybe that's not the right analogy. Maybe that's leadership.
Yeah.
Hey, I have elected to tell you that if you touch that, you're going to get shocked because I can't feel pain I can't feel my finger anymore.
Right.
From touching.
You ever get those men where like you get told the story so long you start thinking that it actually happened to you?
Yeah. Well, like that Metallica song, "You Lie So Much You Believe Yourself."
Yeah.
So if you keep telling yourself the story over and over, you eventually start to believe it.
Right.
Believe that it's fact.
Mm-hmm. And then no one like really challenges you about it because you're the big dick manager or you're the big wig,
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, okay, if that's what you say, all glorious overlord.
And we're just all the dumber because of it.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, what's that? Billy Madison. We are all now dumber for having listened to you.
Yep.
Simple no would have been fine, but all right.
I award you no points. That was a good damn movie too.
It was. What's like that new Halloween? Hubie Halloween. Did you see that one?
I have not. I want to see that.
It's good, and it references a lot of the older movies, and it's got a lot. And most of the cast is all from previous movies.
Nice.
So, but a lot of the references in the movies are from his past movies. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
And the movie was dedicated to. So when he did the grown-up movies, one of the kids that played his sons, that movie actually passed away.
Oh shit!
And so I didn't realize that, but at the end of the movie, there's like a dedication scene to him. Yeah,
definitely gotta
so
see that. now.
I thought that was pretty neat.
That is, didn't some news anchor get fired over appearing in that movie? Did you guys hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, some news anchor, I guess she got fired because she appeared in the movie. She got fired from the news that she would present.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's pretty extreme. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, what did she do in the movie? I kind of wish I knew who it was so I could remember the scene.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up and we'll talk about it. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess we've talked about doing extra shit for simple shit and kind of the dumb reasons for it, but sometimes it is for a legit reason, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's say the original procedures were kind of vague and they sent a new guy out there, a nug, to do the job, and he roasted himself, and sent himself to the infirmary. So it's like, oh, okay, all right. I get, obviously the procedures didn't work.
Yeah, that's a big red flag.
So, so we need to change these to make it foolproof or idiot proof or whatever you want to say.
Right.
But let's dumb it down and write it to a third grade level so no matter who we send out there, as long as they read this procedure, they can't smoke themselves.
Right.
Right. I mean, I think I've seen so many instances like that where the publication comes after the product. You know?
Well, yeah, because there's such a push to get the product to the field or whatever else, and it's like, okay, well, how do I operate this thing?
Good luck.
That is a great question. Here's an email with how it should operate. Okay,
But how do I do it?
yeah, but how do I do it? You'll figure it out.
Good question.
Great.
You know, is one thing, dovetailing off a little bit, is you get those individuals who try to be over creative. Like, well, the publication didn't tell me I shouldn't do that. Like,
But it didn't tell you to do that either.
right? You know, like
Taking some liberties in there.
So for a lot of people who are listening to this, and I hope you kind of do get offended when I say this, like a publication is not going to tell you what you should not do unless it's no kidding going to freaking kill you. You know, like if it's in the book, that means these are things that you will do or should do. And if we were to make all the sections of the stuff that you should not, it'd probably be a giant stack of convoluted shit that you should probably know already by common sense.
But also by them putting in there everything that could go wrong if you did it, people are like, no, I don't believe that. And so they're going to try. It almost becomes a tally sheet of like, let's see how many of these things I can try to do and get away with.
Right.
Right. And so then that's how people get hurt. So it's like telling a kid not to do something, and they're like, but I'm definitely doing that.
Right.
Right. And like at the end of the day, would you read it anyways? Would you listen? Like
think about all the reading signs, right? That we've had to do over the career. Nobody really told you, oh, it's a reading sign. Okay. And people just walk up, sign their name, walk on. Never actually read it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get smoked, and 2 months later, and leadership or company command or whatever you want to say, hey, you signed it though. You said you knew what was going on. So how did this happen? It's your fault. But I can't feel with the left side of my body, and that's your fault.
Yeah.
Not service related.
So get out of my head. but yeah, man, like I remember having this conversation with somebody, and it really was driving me up the wall. Like, well, it didn't say I couldn't do it. Like, are you serious right now, man? Like,
that's the hill you're going to choose to die on?
Yeah. Like,
okay, if that's how you want to play it.
For real.
By all means, try it.
Yeah, try it. It's not going to go very far.
No.
Take this wrench and go ahead and put it against the both two leads of the battery. See exactly what happens.
Yep. And make sure you hold a firm grip on it when you do.
Yeah. You might feel a slight pinch, but that's 100% supposed to happen.
I guess some of the stuff, is done. Some of the stuff is done. It's like, it's done after the fact though, right? How many people got to get, some of the stuff is necessary, and a lot of people have to get hurt before a change is made.
Mm-hmm.
For the extra sit for simple shit is a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like putting a stop sign in an intersection. Well, how many kids on a bicycle got to get run over before a stop sign or a stoplight gets put in?
Right.
So same thing, I guess, for some of those added items. Like, all right, 6 people have hurt themselves. Apparently what we're doing isn't.
Something's wrong here.
You would think like you would kind of predict some of that, but then again, that assumes that someone knows what the hell he's doing.
Well, you would also think safety would be investigating those and saying, now why? Why have we had 6 people in 90 days get hurt off the same thing?
Right. Is it dumb people or is it dumb processes?
Ooh,
something's dumb.
Dang. Something here is a couple cans shy of a 6-pack. You know what I miss? I remember they used to have these posters in like in a shop or a bathroom stall. They called it the Darwin Award.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Yep. Like it's just like some of the dumbest shit you never think humans would actually do, but yes, someone has done it, and so we're gonna make a cartoon about it and kind of warn you, but also tell you just how stupid this can be. I remember seeing this one Darwin Award where this guy he thought it'd be cool to get drunk by giving himself enemas, right?
It's like injecting the alcohol into him?
Yeah.
Okay, I got something to add to that when you're done.
So like he thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Like this is the best way to get a buzz is to give himself drink alcohol through an enema. Okay. And the story goes on where like when you do that, you give up the chances of your body rejecting it. So like say like you drink too much, you start to feel groggy and you start throwing all the excess alcohol up. And whatever else you expanded just gets stuck in your liver. When you do the enema, you don't have a chance to throw up. I mean, I would be grossed out to see someone.
How do you create a alcohol enema? Now my addition to this story is this pre or post kids doing the butt chugging phase? Remember that?
Oh man.
Like the original Tide Pods kids,
Thank you, Steve-O.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But that's basically what it is. It's a butt chug.
It's a butt chug, yeah. And it just goes straight to the dome.
Yeah.
A lot of people will like use tampons and stuff and soak them in alcohol and then
Or like, what is it? The douches, right?
Yep.
Douches?
Well, yeah, probably.
Then there was a video going back around the early days of the interwebs, and it was a guy, and he took vodka in an IV bag and injected himself, and he walked around with the IV, and it took him like 5 minutes before he just collapsed.
Yeah,
because it just like it just wrecked his whole system.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine many if you were able to throw up through your backside. Like
I don't want to, but yeah,
I think we've all been there at one point after some terrible food.
Like, give it November 10th, you see all kinds of Marines doing that shit, right? Like freaking throwing up through their ass.
Yeah, but from the halls of Manta.
Tradition is tradition, damn it.
Tradition is tradition.
Oh man. But so going back to that story, so this guy will he just had a wild one day and he would give himself an enema. He actually got his wife to help him do it, which is
I just don't understand how you put the alcohol into a suppository. I'm assuming a suppository type
of some kind. Like I said,
a turkey baster for all I freaking know, you know.
A turkey baster.
Turkey baster. Oh. Anyway, but he gets his wife to help him do it, right? Say, hey babe, I want to get really fucked up tonight. Here's the turkey baster. Help me out, right? And the story goes, he put a lot of it into his system, and you can't throw up backwards. So he put so much in the system, his body couldn't reject it. He went into shock, and then he died.
Oh my God.
You know, so like you're at a shop or somewhere, like say like a bathroom stall, and you're reading this Darwin story. I'm like, why the fuck would anyone want to do that? And then you brought it up with the butt chugging thing. Like, this was a trend. This is actually...
Well, I also remember the trend. I remember I was in Afghanistan. It was like 2011. I remember sitting in the DFAC one day, and I remember the news article coming across the TV in there, and it said kids are getting wrecked from alcohol poisoning by drinking like rubbing alcohol, like isopropyl, like from hand sanitizer. And I was like, who is drinking hand sanitizer? And then they said, well, the kids are adding salt and it separates the alcohol out from the rest of it. And so me and another guy sitting there, we're like, what, really? And they had hand sanitizer on the table and salt. So we're like, okay, pumped it into a spoon, poured salt, and I'll be damned if we didn't separate it out. But then we still looked at him like, at no point were we like, well, let's try and drink it and see what happens. It was
you also got to look at it from the opinions of the kids though too, because they don't have any other way to get the alcohol. So if that's all they can drink.
Nobody has an older friend, a sleazy uncle. Like, I hear you. There's a million ways to get it when I was growing up.
I say this having not ever done this myself, but you know, sometimes you get desperpt.
It's like the Tide Pod challenges. Detergenty and delicious.
You know, like, hadn't you guys ever seen the movie Kids? You know, that was a wild movie. That movie was insane.
Yeah,
I've never seen that, but I it just doesn't make any sense. But that's why, looping this all back into the episode, that's why there's extra shit for simple shit, because we got a bunch of simple fucking people on this earth. You know,
simple's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, real simple, very simple, but. What's the saying? Like, the simple shit is hard.
Yeah, because you're overthinking it, I guess, maybe.
Well, I mean, how many times have you guys seen where the process is real simple, cut and dry, black and white, and you'll find a guy or a girl, whatever, who just really tries to extract or expand the formula of the simpleness? Like, no, this is too easy. There's need to be more to it.
Yeah, there's a hidden message in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Let me get my little orphan Annie decoder ring.
Right. Like trying to decipher however many digits of pi. Like, cool that you could do it, but is it really necessary?
Yeah. It reminds me, I saw this meme and it says, what's your level of pain? The doctor says to a patient, what's your level of pain? It's pi. What do you mean? It's about 3.14, so it's low level but never ending.
That's good. That's a good one. I would say that from now on. What do you mean pi?
What do you mean pi?
Come on, dog, man. You've been to college. You should know this.
But yeah, but sometimes the red tape gets so thick,
Yeah.
it makes your job almost impossible. Like you almost dread doing a job. Okay, well, it's your turn to go do this. And you're like, oh my God. Like it's going to take me 40 minutes just to get set up to do a job that's going to take 10 minutes. Well, that's what you have to do. But why? Don't we have a new person for this? Like I've never hurt myself. Can we send somebody who's actually hurt themselves and consider it remedial training?
Right.
And a chance to redeem themselves? Like, and if they hurt themselves again, well, that's their problem.
Darwin Award.
Yeah.
Darwin Award.
Then we can just go add insult to injury. I bet that hurts, doesn't it? And you're fat.
And I feel a lot of that extra stuff comes about when you're doing a process audit or a process review. You know what I mean? Like most of the times you kind of do the expedient version of a step or a process, but then you expand all of that, or you dive a little deeper when you guys are under an audit, or say a customer's there watching you for whatever reason. Like, oh, so this is that, and just really break down the steps.
And like, I feel like they harp on, again, when a customer's there or whatever, they harp on like, oh, we need to do all this extra stuff because they care. Well, I'm telling you, that customer doesn't give a damn. All they care about is like, that's cool. That's the plane I bought. When can I have it?
Yeah.
I see people walking around. I don't care what they're doing. When can I have my asset?
Yeah.
I would like that, please. It's like when you buy a car, you're like, I don't care who's got to do what to it. I just want it.
I just want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if they did that for like Carvana or like a buy it online kind of car sale, when it's just like how you would for an airline or a part.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that we get you bought it today, but we'll get it to you in like 5 or 6 months. Wait, what?
Do you have to mine for the metals to make the car? Like, what's going on?
Like, but it's used. What the hell?
Yeah, it went through a flood. It's got a Carfax with it. Like, what the hell?
Right.
Just give it to me now.
But that, I mean, for a Rolls Royce, I can understand because they build everything in person. I would assume so. That's the clout that they go with.
I think Rolls Royce only hires A&P mechanics too.
That'd be dope.
Because
Hey,
they take it as that's a higher level of maintenance, but unspecialized. So they can get higher quality with lesser pay. It hurts.
It hurts so much.
It hurts because it's true. But the extra stuff, it's good and bad. It's a double-edged sword. It hurts you and it helps you. And you mentioned process reviews before, and I feel like instead of addressing the bigger problem, which may be an incorrect process or poorly written process or whatever else, instead of fixing that, they just go, well, we could do that, or I could just tell you to wear this extra stuff or ground 7 more things, ground the earth to the earth and ground the earth to the moon and the moon to Saturn before you defuel.
Right. Let's add sub steps to the main step instead of just revamping all of it.
Instead of fixing the actual problem. But sometimes the actual problem's people. And how do you, if we as a society would let it happen, it would fix itself.
I would argue that more often than not, it's people.
Yeah. If I were betting, I'd say that's the same thing. And again, as Six mentioned, Darwinism, if we just let it happen, then it would fix itself. But we protect the weak.
Yes. I'm wondering what would happen
Minded.
if we took all of the warning labels off of fireworks. I just want to know, one 4th of July, just take all of the warning labels off of fireworks. What would happen?
I bet the death rate skyrockets, just like the fireworks.
Well, I mean, like they shoot like Roman candles, right? They shoot Roman candles at each other.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I may or may not have done that as a kid.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this.
Or they put cherry bombs in mailboxes and whatnot.
Or toilets or whatever.
Watermelon.
Well, what are those bigger ones? Not cherry bombs, M80s, I think it's called.
M80s.
Oh, those are
like
good
the
ones.
mini dynamite fishing fireworks.
Yeah, isn't that like a quarter stick of dynamite or something like that?
That's what it looks like, man.
Mhm.
And they spin, don't they? Like when they light them up, they spin.
I'm not 100%
I
sure
might be
on that.
I might be getting messed up because I remember seeing this one fire where it looked like a quarter stick of dynamite, and you lit it, you throw it on the ground, and it spins for like a quick second, then it explodes and like sets off car alarms and shit.
Damn.
Yeah, that happened a lot this last 4th. But going back to your statement, Shoreline, I bet. Well, it can. I think it'll go one or two ways. I bet the injury rate, maybe not death rate. A lot of people are going to be missing appendages. more people missing appendages, or it goes the other way, and people are like, there's no warning label on this. How dangerous is it really? I'm not going to mess with it.
Right.
Because almost like if people see, oh, it's got a warning label on it, well, somebody's inspected it, I guess. So it can't be that bad. But if there's no warning label, like, what Chinese warehouse did this thing come out of? And I'm a little afraid to light it because it might blow up in my face right now.
Right.
So
It's kind of like a grenade, you know, like there's no warning label, but you know you shouldn't hang on to it for more than 5 seconds.
right. Pull pin, throw. You know, and then, oh shoot.
Go into that real fast, man, about grenades. Like, when you're throwing live grenades, they have like this wall in case like you miss. I mean, I couldn't fathom how someone could just miss. Right?
Oh yeah, it's like a 5-foot wall.
Yeah,
Huck it over
you gotta
the
throw
wall.
it over the wall
Yeah.
and into like this random field. Like, how do you not throw it over a 5-foot wall? You know, like the average person is probably like 5'1". You know, you just reach your hand and you're over the wall. Just go.
Yeah, no kidding. Are you talking about the video where the guy? It's like in it's an Asian country, but they're training throwing grenades, and the guy throws it, hits the wall, and drops the ground, and,
And
the
it rolls
instructor like grabs him, and there's like a foxhole behind him, and they just dive into the pit, and then boom.
Yeah. Like, picture that, right? Like, but when they give you the grenade, which in most service members do, here's the grenade, right? Pull pin and throw. Sometimes they say, okay, you can hang on to it for maybe 1 to 2 seconds, but fuck that.
No, I'm getting that out of my fucking hand.
Get chucking this as far as I can. Yoink!
Like yeet. Yeah. Like Major Payne pulls a pin. He just stands there laughing. All the people are like, oh, they dive in the dirt, and he hucks it back and blows the tree out of the ground.
Yeah.
That's not even a real grenade. And he's like, it's just a dummy, and he throws it. He's like, who's the dummy now?
Who's the dummy now? So there was this one Angels baseball player. He used to be a Marine, and he did college baseball before he joined, I think it was. And they give him the grenade. He pulls the pin, throws it. But he was like I guess, what would you call it? Not like an amateur pitcher. And he throws it past the grenade box.
Oh God.
You know, like, you throw too good.
You throw too well. You need to dial it back. Take 20% off.
Yeah, man, like, be 20% less awesome. You know?
Too much weight room.
And picture, this is about a 5-pound, I guess you could call it a ball, but the grenade weighs 5 pounds, 5 to 6 pounds. And he like just tosses it like a good 200 some yards away from.
Is that how much a grenade weighs? Is 5 to 6 pounds?
Yeah, about 5 to 6 pounds.
Really? I guess I've never held a live
And
grenade.
And fun fact, a lot of these newer grenades, they shape them to look like baseballs because the theory was like the average American knows how to throw a baseball.
Instead of a small pineapple?
Yeah, instead of a mini pineapple. But then here you have like this guy over here, and he throws it past the grenade range. Like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
Rolls into somebody's yard.
Right into the parking lot under the commander's car. Boom!
Oh my God.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm too good.
Sorry. Extra shit. Don't throw it.
Yeah,
Don't give it your best. Just throw
extra
it.
shit, and then it comes the extra shit warning label. Do not be too good at throwing. Be better than average, but less than expert.
Right?
Like you've thrown a baseball 3 times in your life.
right.
Yeah.
You've watched Sandlot once. You know, like,
Oh shit, man.
That's funny.
but what about in the audio side?
So for me, mostly, I would say the extra shit has to do with security. Primarily because I work in a lot of casinos, and their security situations a lot of the time is pretty chill. But I'm thinking of one casino that I work at in particular, which also happens to be our biggest client, which I generally crew chief for. And their security system is just it's ridiculous. So a lot of people don't realize that you have regular security and then you have something called TGA. TGA is the Tribal Gaming Association, and they overrule everybody. They will overrule the CEO of the casino, everything. Like they can do whatever the hell they want to do. Dealing with them, and like it has taken me literally 2 hours to get from the check-in station to where I'm supposed to be working because of the processes in place and them having to call supervisors and them having to do this. And part of it's because when they built the casino, terrible idea. They put the freight elevators, which is what we use to take all the gear up, right next to the man trap. And if you don't know what the man trap is a tunnel that leads to your vault.
Okay.
So you have to pass the man trap to get to the freight elevator. So that's a high security area right next to a place where you need to constantly access. So now it's this whole, well, we think you're trying to rob from us. And it's like, no, you are literally paying me to be here. I have no interest in doing any of this, but you know, it is what it is.
Right.
So something that should take 5 minutes or less, really, it should be taking about 2 minutes to get from the front desk, can take upwards of 2 hours.
Well, therein lies the problems of extra shit for simple shit. It delays. It prolongs any amount of work for the most part. Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes for the better, most times.
So yeah,
Most times,
Not.
So yeah, picture it when I have like a 30-person crew and we all have to go through this process.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it just
like,
drags it out
oh,
and
God.
out. You probably have to do it each time you go. So say you take a load to what'd you call it? The
yeah, so we
dumbwaiter?
go from the dock up to the freight elevator and then into the room, you know. Luckily, that section is by itself, so you don't have to pass the security desk every time, but pretty much every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily, it's not like you have to sign in every time. You just have to have one of their badges and then you're fine. But still, it's like just obtaining that original badge is such a pain.
Yeah. Wild, yeah.
And I've walked into other casinos where they're just like, oh, you don't even have to get a badge. Like, you're fine. We know you guys. It's fine. And it's like, we're here every other weekend. You know us. Like
You're cool.
yeah.
You're cool. You're cool. Fuck you. You're cool.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty
out.
much.
I'm out. Closing thoughts, MVP.
Don't be dumb and be the cause of extra shit being added for simple shit.
Mhm.
But you will run across it no matter what your career field is. There's always going to be some extra steps you have to take because somebody before you decided to be a half-wit. Just roll with the punches, learn from their mistakes, and like I said, don't be the reason more has to be added.
Right. Don't be the Darwin word. That's one of the words you don't want to win.
Yes.
Please don't do that. Be safe, everybody. All right. We'd like to thank our patrons for supporting us and allowing us to make these episodes and for allowing Shoreline to be happy enough to make these episodes with us. So we'd like to thank Laura Mans, Erica Lamont, Mike Diltz, Jenny Dignan, Ryan Freshour, and Thomas Connolly. Thank you so much for your contribution and helping us make this show happen. Check out our merch at cancelformaintenance.com. It's the cold season's coming up, so buy yourself a CXMX sweater, among other stuff. Check out our sponsor, our first ever legit sponsor, Rockwell Time at rockwelltime.com. They make awesome watches and some other cool outdoorsy gear. Use the code CX4MX, that is Charlie X-Ray, the number 4, Mike X-Ray, and save 20% off your purchase. Support us on Patreon. And like I said, your patronage helps us continue making these shows, bring on guests, allow Shoreline to be able to be happy enough to help us, and helps us maintain our gear. If you have some ideas for the show or like to come onto the show, visit cancelformaintenance.com, shoot us a line on the contact us section, and we'll do all we can to get you on the show and or your ideas on the show.
Bye, everybody.